Welcome back to Birdclan. This is part 2. If you haven't watched the first video, I seriously recommend you do. It'll be linked in the description. There are a lot of characters that you might not know if you haven't, and I worked really hard on it, so it'd be great if you watched it. Thank you. There was a lot of death this year, and it's gonna be a lot, so be prepared. Warnings will be in the description. That being said, let's go on to StarClan, the saddest part of these videos. First, let's start with the very young Stonepaw, who died on patrol with his mentor at only 8 moons. Him and them saw a porcupine while on patrol, and he tried to pounce on it, thinking it was something like a rabbit or a mouse, causing him to get stabbed by the quills and, die. He grew into a childish, avid play fighter, which, checks out. I think he learned it from Daisy Kit. There isn't a lot to talk about with him, considering how young he died, but it's still a bummer. Next, let's move on to a surprise for me and you. Our senior medicine cat, Nightingale Drop, died at 198 moons. She died in an ambush by a bunch of rogues along with another cat who we'll talk about very soon. There wasn't a lot to talk about Nightingale either because she died pretty early on too, like halfway across the year. So Birdclan was left without a medicine cat for a while because everyone was so confused. This is why you don't choose an old cat for your medicine cat, guys. It's nice though because she finally gets to, have peace and just hang out a little. She grew to have steady paws in the afterlife after the update, which I think is cute. Next up in StarClan is the young Daytooth, who was killed at 16 moons when he also got ambushed on the same night as Nightingale Drop. I'd like to imagine they weren't ambushed at the same exact time, at the same exact place together, but I'd like to imagine that, she died, and then when everyone was panicked, he got, whisked away, and, It's sad, though, because I was seeing Fumblepaw as a potential mate for him, and it's just sad because, Next up in StarClan is our spunky girl, Blackfall. If you paid attention in episode 1, you would know that she was mentoring Daytooth, and, she actually got to see the end of his apprenticeship, which I think is cute, and, spoilers, is very rare for this clan. She influenced him to be a good speaker, and I find that cute because she's also a good speaker. While we're here, I'd like to say I interpret her loyal trait as, loyal to her friends and the people around her, not, if anyone bad is happening, because one of the other things she influenced Daytooth to be was to break rules that don't suit him. So I'd like to imagine that while she isn't a rule breaker, she is a little silly. Fortunately, that's all the cats who died this year, so how about we move back down to the living? First up is our still alive and kicking Darkstar. And while we're here, let's just get the elephant out of the room. What is that injury on her? Well, it includes Darkstar, Charbuzz, and Fumblekick. It's a whole situation, so let's just say there was an accident. Moving along, I'm very worried for this girl because a certain cat really hates her, and I'm afraid that he's gonna try and murder her. Because, in order of concerningness, he heard an ugly rumor about her, complained about her, thought she wasn't very considerate of others, thought she was being annoying, and the most concerningly, sharpening her claws by her. She's got a little bit of romantic like for a recent newcomer in the clan who will be shown later. And I think that's cute because I think they're around the same age. Hopefully. Yes, they are around the same age. I had to check just in case because I was scared. So that's all for Darkstar. There isn't a lot to say about her this year. Besides, the incident, which we're going to get into later. So, let's move on to the next cat. Which is Runomimic. She's under a lot of pressure right now because of Darkstar's injury, all the chaos in the clan happening right now, their low numbers. But she can manage because, she's thoughtful, she thinks, she thunks. Her mentorship with Fumblekick went pretty well. She caused her to get valuable insight and the calm trait, and influenced them to use words over teeth and claws, and better at providing insight, graduating at 12 moons old. Really put in that excellent teacher trait to use, I see. She just has a lot on her plate right now and doesn't really have the energy to do a lot besides, work. But she's been trying to socialize a lot more than she has recently, which I think is nice. And next is the young Daisy Shade, who switched to Medicine Cat after the death of Nightingale Drop. Not by choice, as you can see by his emo haircut. He did not want to be a Medicine Cat, but he was the best option at the time of the two apprentices, and he kind of had to be a Medicine Cat. He seems to not be having a fun time. His friend, as you could say, Stonepaw, died really young, and now he's just sad and angry at the world. There isn't a lot to say for this emo boy. I guess you'll just have to wait until year 2 to see more about him. Next up is the ex-kitty pet Guinness Fur, who joined later on, so there isn't a lot to say about her, but this is the cat who Darkstar has a slight crush on. It seems like she does have a crush back, which, cute. Seems to be not that close to a lot of people, so maybe she just isn't that close to people. Maybe she just doesn't get close to people. Yeah, Darkstar seems to be the only person she really cares for that much in the clan right now. Which, cute. Lesbian cats, we love to see it. There isn't a lot more to say about her because, again, she joined later on in the year and hasn't really done a lot. But it's still cute. That's all for Guinness Fur, so how about we move on to the 46 moon old Charbuzz, who is the one that has been very creepy recently. Now, Charbuzz is an interesting cat because he was completely normal on the founding moon. He just became progressively more and more unhinged as it came on. The interesting thing about Charbuzz is that he's never really been that weird until around the end of the year, which is, fun because you want to know what he did. It seems that something happened on the 10th or the 11th moon because you know what he did? I've already asked that before. He lied about Fumblekick, formerly known as Fumblepaw, saying something bad about Darkstar and attacked her and used that as justification to Darkstar, who did not believe it at all. I'd like to say she's not dumb. He still has his butterfly, which I don't know is alive, which I don't know how is alive after a year, but let's just put that aside, okay?
Next up after him is Fumblekick, whose warrior name was revealed recently. But, if you were paying attention earlier, you would know that she got involved in some stuff and almost died. Hence the injury. Due to some future knowledge, I'd say this one is worse than the rest. Don't worry, it's not anything major. But there's a lot to say, because besides that, she's just been, a good cat. She's been strong, brave, all that. All shebang. So, how about
Next up is a 7-moon-old Creekpaw. He joined at the very end of the year, Moon 10 at Moon 5, so there's a lot to say about him, but Mimic is training him well because you can see by this photo, I think they're really cute, especially considering Mimic is the one that found him. That is all for Creekpaw, so the last cat for today is Chirp Honey. She hasn't been doing good. She's like a mother figure for the entire clan. So, having so much death at once, including the very young Stonepaw, who she saw as, either like a very close niece or no, which she saw as a very close nephew or even a son. Yeah, she's not doing okay. She's just struggling. I feel really bad for her, to be honest, because like 4 deaths, and all of them saw her as a mother figure. Everyone loves her, but she's very closed off right now and tired. That would be all for today, so I'll see you next year where a lot of stuff happens, so you should probably be prepared. It's gonna be a lot. Set your mind to it. Hopefully that one won't take nearly as long as this one has. I'm sorry this took so long. I lost motivation and then a lot of stuff happened, like school starting, family member dying, a lot of stuff. So, hopefully the next one won't take nearly as long as this one. Thank you for everyone for supporting me on the first one. Please watch it if you haven't. I put a lot of effort into it. Bye!